Attention. That's the same in French too, yeah. Oui, okay. Attention. Yes. So we're going to go in order now of the club visit report. So those that volunteered to do first impressions, just to give you guys just the structure of how it's going to be, I will be the timer. So you get 5 minutes to come up here and share your wisdom with all the other area directors. So everyone's going to want to pay attention because you all need to fill out these sections, not just the one you just focused on. So please do listen to what that group came up with. And I will allow for another 3 minutes after the 5 minutes for us to have a bit of a overall group discussion. So we are going to get started with Division B, talking about first impressions. So if someone wants to come up here, join me. Woo, yeah. Good job, Amy. Delegation.
All right. So I'm describing what exactly you want me to talk about.
Talk about first impressions. What do we need to know? What have you encountered? And what challenges you think we're going to have?
So what we described was basically, as you can see here in this section, these are things that you would look for in a healthy club, right? So we're looking for a friendly atmosphere in your club. So what do the club do to provide a friendly atmosphere? If you're in a secure location, do you offer a greeter? Does the club offer a greeter to invite the guests up to the meeting room? Are the guests introduced to the whole membership in attendance that day, or are they kind of quietly ignored? So we want to encourage that they feel comfortable, so make sure that they're introduced. You would want to ask them at the end of the meeting for some feedback. So make sure that you offer a chance for the guests to give some feedback if they enjoyed the meeting, if they think they might like to come back and join the second time. Actually, a very valuable one is to ask the guests if they, why they're there. Why did they come? Why are they interested in Toastmasters? So what's their reason for being there? So that's a very good idea. You want to know if the club is using branded materials and current up-to-date branded materials to encourage, promote Toastmasters. And there's lots of great materials there, of course, for that reason, to help out. What else do we have here?
So what challenges do you think you might encounter? When you visit clubs, what do you think you could encounter, and what would you recommend?
There was a conversation came up that members are often very familiar with each other, so the conversation does not become isolated, but when you have a guest in, you want to make sure that you're including them in the conversation and that you're noticing that everybody's friendly with new guests that come in. It's naturally going to happen, you're friends with your fellow Toastmasters, but you want to make sure that conversations remain as open as possible and inclusive.
Any other thoughts in terms of what we need to consider for first impressions? Okay, let's open it up to everybody else. What do you guys think? Is there anything further that you know? Yes, you know. We're reviewing. Next group, I'm going to ask everyone to come up. I think that's a better way. Anyone else? When you think about when guests are coming through your doors, what are some key things you think you're going to be looking for? Yes?
I think I forgot to mention was plan a visit when you expect the guests. So for example, some clubs have open houses, like you would in other offices.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. So plan your visit for open houses or some of the fun events that we have that would allow you to see how a club does with welcoming their guests. Anyone else? Yeah, Randy?
Ask them what they're looking for.
That's a good point. What do the guests, why are they there?
No, I don't know.
Right, what goals might they have and what might compel them to join? Yes. Anyone else? Any thoughts about guests? Yes.
What we do usually in our club is to pairing with a member at the beginning, warmly welcoming that person, pairing with them, sit with them. So if you have any questions during the meeting, ask me. I'm here to help you to understand the process because it's a bit weird the first time, but you will see it's really powerful. And then you manage a relationship tight together at first. Not let them look at this and we will talk at the end. No.
Yeah.
Join with me, we will take care of that person at the beginning from all the meeting time till the end.
Yeah. So Sylvain recommended pairing up with a buddy as soon as they come in the door. I think that's great. I mean, especially all this weird clapping that we do and the shaking hands, like all these things that they might look at it and be like, what is going on? You know, someone can sit with them and whisper, hey, this is what's going on. Yeah, is this a cult? I don't know, yes.
It's not first impression, but this is a practice that we have in Cathedral Club, which actually, that's what brought me back and made me a member, that we always encourage guests to have a table topic speech. So at the beginning they were intimidated sometimes, some of them just jumped there like I did, and proved to be very efficient and effective, and it brings them reception.
That's another good point. My clubs do that as well. If you can get the guests saying something, even if it's just their name or whatever, but just don't put them on the spot. That'd be the only thing I'd recommend, is you don't want to say, oh, now here's your question for table topics, but you can always approach them and say what it is.
We don't volunteer them, we leave them to
Yeah,
volunteer.
that's a good.
Volunteer.
Fantastic, that's fantastic. Yes, Paul?
Just one note about the branded material, that we want to encourage the club executives that every time they put in an order to Toastmasters, to make sure they get the free stuff as well. And that way they don't have to pay for it. And that's one way to get a little money out of that every time they purchase.
Yeah. There's one, I don't want to put Tanya on the spot, so you can shake your head if you don't want to, but there is also this notion of a guest book. So I think this is a good time to talk about it if you feel like it. If not, I will talk about it. But did you want to share your thoughts on that?
Quickly, my team is working on building a retention program. That's the one you're talking about. It's in draft mode, but basically it will look like how many guests have come, converted to how many members, and that will work itself into an incentive. And it's using your guest book to drive that incentive. So draft mode right now, it's not official, but we are looking at a conversion incentive.
Right on. So how many clubs that you guys are in have guest books? Well, that's good. How many of you follow up and send them a note or call them? How many of you actually call them is another question. Yeah. Randy does, yeah. I have a funny story about, just a side note about calling. I have a bit of a joke that if my phone rings, I'm scared when it's that noise. If my phone rings, we don't talk to each other on the phone anymore. And I think that sometimes it's a good idea to do that, get that personal touch back, because sometimes an email gets lost. So, you know, I think that personal touch phone call sometimes is a great way to do it. So, great discussion. So thank you for that. I think our time is up for this section. We are going to move on to membership orientation. Yes, thank you. Very good job.
Emotion.
I didn't know I had that effect on you.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I know, I just need water, but there's none.
Water?
Okay, so Eugenia, Margaret, Julia, and I, we spoke about how we can make sure the members are integrated from the get-go. So there's a few things that we do from the very first week, if not the very first day they join. We induct them and we give them an orientation. We tell them about all the roles during the club meeting with pathways. We also explain how the Toastmasters website works, how the district website works, and where to find information. For the Spanish club, they have a formal mentoring program for two purposes. One, for the language, so if you want to practice your Spanish and not fluent, so there's a Spanish fluent speaker that will help you with your language, and another one will help you with pathways. We make sure that when members are in